We did not fire Jeff. He
No.
was not at a Coldplay concert with the HR director having an affair because Jeff isn't even married. So
Yeah, it's impossible.
if I saw you at a Coldplay concert on the Jumbotron, I'd be like, hey, good for Jeff.
Yes.
He's cute. That's great.
Looking for a cool, delicious way to beat the summer heat? Try Postma's refreshing cold beverages. Enjoy a creamy Postma frappe made with milk and just the right touch of sweetener for a smooth, energizing treat. Or dive into a rich Postma milkshake, perfect for those sunny days when you want something tasty and satisfying. Postum gives you that delightful caffeine-free boost with every sip. This summer, chill out with Postum. Refreshment you can feel good about.
Hello, listener. I love it when Matt says that. This is Kurt Frankham and Jeff. Man, I meant to ask you again how to say it. Gaser, right?
Gosser.
Yeah. I mean, we're old friends now, and I can't
We
even.
just got to go through all the iterations before you get it.
And the rumors are not true. We did not fire Jeff. He
No.
was not at a Coldplay concert with the HR director having an affair because Jeff isn't even married. So
Yeah, it's impossible.
if I saw you at a Coldplay concert on the Jumbotron, I'd be like, hey, good for Jeff.
Yes.
He's cute. That's great. So, oh my goodness, I can't believe
Maybe I would
this.
hide.
What's
Maybe I
that?
would still hide just because of all the other, I don't know, like mutual girls, you know?
That's right. Like, why didn't he call back?
It would be like a
Oh.
first or second date or something, you know? So,
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, we had to mention the CEO because, man, I can't remember the last time something caught so much like, caught on like wildfire. This is the poor CEO. But you know what? It is what it is. It has nothing to do with Mormons or Latter-day Saints or anything. But yeah.
Well, there's something there, yeah, because I'm also surprised. I didn't think it was going to go viral. I just saw a video of it on YouTube, and I don't know if it had already gone viral at that point. I feel like because this was like maybe just yesterday or something, or maybe 2 days ago, and I immediately sent it to my friends, like immediately, just because it was so enjoyable to watch someone go through so much, public shame.
Oh my gosh.
I'm usually not into the public shaming thing, but this is pretty satisfying to watch.
Yeah, for sure. So speaking of dating in all the appropriate ways, how's it going for you? Any have you swiping on new profiles and new dates, or are you just too busy for that?
I want to say no comment.
Hey, we don't have to go here. I should have warned you. Or you're always welcome to say, Kurt, we don't need to talk about my personal life.
So. I knew you were going to ask, and I thought before I was like, I'm going to say no comment.
I'm like every YSA bishop, like, oh, Brother Gasser, how has it been? Have you gone on any dates recently?
Well, I feel like the last time that we were doing the podcast, the last couple times we talked about my dating life, and for some reason I was in a position where I felt like I could do that comfortably. But right now, I don't know. I feel like things are a little bit more delicate, maybe, and so I'm just kind of. Although I do have a date this evening, so
cool.
I will say.
What are you gonna do?
So I am pulling the old dog sitting trick, I guess.
I'm not familiar with the old dog sitting trick.
I'm dog sitting my brother's amazingly cute and wonderful dog, Charlie.
Oh.
And Charlie, let's see. He's not in here. I thought he would be in here.
He may be featured later on in the episode if you watch that.
He's a great dog. He's a Bernedoodle. He's like very well trained, adorable, nice. He's everything you want a dog to be. And I have him for the week. And so, naturally on Mutual, I'm like, well, hey, do you want to go on a walk with my super cute dog? And
Oh
just trying
yeah.
to have fun with it, I guess. But
Here's how you seal the deal, Jeff. You also show up with like a newborn baby. I mean, not yours, of course, but
right.
but
Somebody that
ladies love the babies. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
you have a cute dog and a cute infant. You're
yep.
you're golden. So,
It's not a
um,
bad
so is this
idea.
a first date then, or
Yeah, it's just a first date. Hmm.
okay, kind of casual? Hey, let's go for a walk. We'll just get to know each
Yeah,
other
yeah.
and type of thing.
Well, I asked her first. I was like, hey, like, how do you feel about dogs? And she had a pretty positive response to that. So I was like, just trying to like switch it up because sometimes first dates can get a little monotonous because you don't want to commit to like a big creative, whatever date where you invest a lot of time and resources because you just don't know how it's going to go, especially
Yeah.
when it comes to online dating where you really don't know. It's really like a blind date, right?
Yeah.
So I usually try and keep things simple. But in this case, I was just like, well, hey, let's just do like a little. I think we're gonna go to Bridal Veil Falls. That's what I'm thinking right now. I should probably have a better idea of that right now. Right.
Nice.
Because I'm
I,
gonna
I once did a first date at Bridal Veil Falls. This was
really.
before I'm married because I'm not
Yeah,
crazy
I've done
about going out in
it.
public if I'm having an affair. But
Yeah.
and for the record, I am not having an affair. Um, sorry, that would be my last reference. But yeah, that's a great date place. Like a good
It's
casual.
oh, it's
It's
solid.
pretty.
Yep.
Places to sit and eat if you want.
Easy. It's like an easy hike. It's outdoors. Lots of people.
Yeah,
Um,
no
and so
jumbotrons. Ah, dang it, that was my
yeah.
last reference. Okay. Um, and
Which
but I like this approach of like, hey, like I'm watching my brother's dog, like let's go for a walk, and then you kind of like, are they good with dogs? Like that says a lot about somebody if they're like, oh, I hate dogs or I hate animals. Like,
yeah.
okay, like how about we just stop talking? So yeah,
Yeah, it
that's cool.
mixes it up. Um, and it also gives Charlie an opportunity to go out and do something fun too. So,
Love it, love
so I
it.
feel like I'm kind of neglecting him this week. I've just been really busy with different
Dang
stuff.
it.
So,
All right, what about work? Any fun projects, or you're just editing boring
gosh,
documentaries? Or
I am editing a boring document. I can say that right now because nobody on the project is LDS and is going to listen to this. Yeah, I am editing a. That's what I was doing. That's why I'm a little bit late today.
but
Yeah.
nothing noteworthy.
Well, I just got done with like the really busy season. So that's why I stepped away from doing the episodes for a while, just because just extremely busy, pulled a couple all-nighters, just
Dang.
kind of working around the clock. So, but
You're
nothing
always welcome
super
back.
interesting. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Very good. Well, I'm trying to think of my life. I went to North Carolina. Love the state. I get I don't know if I mentioned this, but I guess when you go to a humid climate like that, like a super humid climate, you're like, oh, I get the sort of the frustration with garments at times. I mean, it's a different experience wearing garments in humidity. I could really go for some short sleeves right now. That's what I was thinking. Nice, nice. Where was I? Yeah, went out to North Carolina, and yeah, we had a Leading Saints event out there, and then hung out. My brother-in-law lives out there. My wife's brother, and took the kids to the beach and did all the things and just experienced North Carolina. And I just love those type of vacations where, Disneyland, in my opinion, is overrated. And I feel like there's that pressure to take your kids to Disneyland, but we just go to like a random state in the Union, and man, you learn so much, you see some things. It's great. So it was a good
We
time.
live in a beautiful country, man.
I
Like
know.
so much to see.
No reason to go to Anaheim and see the same, fake mouse over and over. So,
Yeah.
anyways, that's that.
And the where were you in North Carolina exactly?
In Raleigh.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Was
You were
there
you
sorry, was there a specific reason for going to Raleigh? Did I miss that?
so we did a Leading Saints event, but then we hung out with. I brought my family. We hung out because my brother-in-law lives there. So
Okay.
that's
Yeah,
that.
I'm actually just about to go out there to Outer Banks with some friends. So
Nice,
that'll
popular
be
locale these days. So
yeah. That's the
awesome.
location of the infamous Duck Beach.
That's right.
You know the infamous Duck Beach,
Have you
right?
been to Duck Beach?
I did. Yeah, I
You
did go in
did.
my DC
All
days.
right, let's hear it. It's because is
Nothing
there
too.
age cutoff after?
There was some. Oh,
And maybe explain to those who don't know what Duck Beach is.
yeah, Duck Beach. I don't even know if it's still happening, but it was basically like East Coast singles, basically New York and DC, going to the beach maybe Memorial Day weekend, or was it like the weekend after Memorial Day? And you would get like, you know, these huge mansions, and you would pack as many people into these houses as possible, you know, because we're all basically like semi poor, you know,
Yeah.
kids in our 20s, early 20s. And yeah, it's just a big singles event. It's good, wholesome fun. I think maybe there were some houses with some sketchy rumors and stuff, but
Of
for the
course.
most part, it was good. You
Man.
know, you had some parties on the beach, and yeah,
Listen up, Hulu. There's your reality TV show.
right.
Don't
Well,
give
I
us
think
these secret lives. Just call it Duck Beach.
yeah,
Stuff a bunch of YSAs into a mansion house, and the content will write itself.
I
So,
mean, the tension would be off the chain.
so did you leave? You only did it once, or
I did it, I think, like 2 or 3 times.
did you leave feeling like, oh, I made some good connections and friends, and she was
Yeah,
cute?
always.
Maybe I'll call her. Or, yeah.
No. When it came to the actual purpose of the activity, no.
Yeah.
But when it came to just like good social, you know, like making new friends and stuff, yeah, met a ton of people.
Nice. Very
So
cool. Cool. Well,
yeah,
should we jump into some news?
yeah, let's do it.
All right. All right. And we look forward to having you back whenever you can, Jeff. So,
Yeah,
whenever you can. All
fun.
right. So this is good. This is gonna be like a real authentic experience because I mentioned to you, hey, did you hear about President Oaks's comment this week? And you said, huh?
No,
Come again? But you've
yeah,
had a busy week, right?
I don't know about his comment.
Okay. So
Maybe I saw something about was this in Europe
it
or
was in
something?
Europe, in
Okay.
Belgium, I believe.
Oh, in
Um,
Belgium. Uh,
yes.
all I saw was that he said that people should focus on Jesus.
Yes, he also said that. In fact,
Yeah.
that was the majority of the feeling of his remarks. So this is what happened. From if I understand this right, I could be wrong, and I know we rarely spout incorrect news and information on This Week in Mormons, but I'll do my best to give you a summary of what happened. So President Oaks goes to Belgium, and they have this like world or this Europe-wide conference. I think it was like translated into 24 languages, and I think this was another. Was this another story on our list here? But anyways, um, and does this broadcast, whatever. But I guess before that, he stopped in as he does. A few months ago, he just randomly showed up at my sister's ward in Harriman, and my nephew was playing the saxophone, and suddenly he was playing the saxophone in sacrament meeting for President Oaks. Anyways, so he does this, right? So he's in Belgium, I believe, Brussels, and before he does this broadcast, he stops in at a sacrament meeting. Now, this isn't really adding up for me so far, but I'm not disputing that it didn't happen. And when I heard this, and I'm about to play it for you, when I heard this, I thought I think that's fake. I think that's doctored because it's really like it's like a YouTube sacrament meeting feed. So it's not like it's really low res, right? And
Yeah.
I'm like, you could, AI could put any words in this, right? So at first I'm like, I think that's fake because that's how it kind of struck me. Like, did he really say that? Anyways, but it's weird in my mind now that I think about it as I'm saying this out loud. Why would there be a sacrament meeting happening when they're going to have a Europe wide broadcast? Usually it'd be like you're canceling sacrament. Anyways,
Hmm.
we'll figure that out later. All right, so I'll play the recording. Okay, this is what he says. There's a translator, and it might be a little soft, but hopefully you can hear it. Here it is, and just we'll get your live reaction here.
Know that we are children of heavenly parents.
En we weten dat we kinderen zijn van hemelse ouders.
So we know that we have a heavenly mother or mothers.
En we weten dat we een hemelse moeder hebben of moeders.
But for reasons the Lord has not revealed, we do not know much about our heavenly mother. Know that we
Okay,
are children.
all right, there it is. So, did you hear it?
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah. What did you hear?
I heard that we know that we have a heavenly mother or mothers.
That's right. Okay. What's your response? I mean, what?
Well, my
I'll give you.
response is that we gotta figure this out, because the truth of the matter is that Elder Oaks is married to multiple women
Sealed to multiple women,
in
right?
the eternities.
Right.
And so it's not that far-fetched to say we have heavenly mothers following the logic of what the apostles currently and the members of the church currently practice.
Right. Yeah. And our history with polygamy and all those things. Right?
And people really love the heavenly mother thing, narrative, because it feels very progressive.
Because it's it's we have a mother there as well, right? Yeah.
And not only is it progressive, but it's also, or not only does it sound progressive, I should say, but also it is a nice doctrine. I like it. But yeah, the whole thing with polygamy in the afterlife, that's something that we really need to own up to. We're practicing some major cognitive dissonance when it comes to polygamy in the afterlife, like
yes.
major.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And in fact, most of the time we're like, it's easier just to pretend like, oh, that's not a thing, or like, let's just not talk about it, and maybe we don't have to talk about it, right? And but nonetheless, sort of like, well, in the handbook it just mentions, well, yeah, you can be sealed. I don't know if it says in the handbook directly, but yeah, I mean, there can be multiple sealings, and
there's a lot of stuff with a lot of difficult situations that come up with eternal marriage. With even with like women who get divorced and then can't break off their sealing to their husband, who goes off, and you could have like a difficult divorce, for example, where let's say the guy is at fault. The man and woman get divorced. The guy goes off. He gets married to somebody else. No problem. The woman wants to get divorced, but can't do it, or wants to break off the sealing right and get married to somebody else in the temple, but can't do it, or has to wait for a time or whatever. There's just, there's a lot of funny stuff that happens when it comes to.
And from my personal experience, I will say, I think the church has gotten a lot better at being a little more liberal with the sealing cancellations, with granting those without asking too many follow-up questions. If it's something you want and the request goes up, usually that happens. I'm sure there's stories and anecdotes out there where that was not the case, but I listened to this, and I guess the strange thing about it is, we have some really interesting doctrine, or that's not necessarily core doctrine, but it's there, and it's in our history, and it's in our practice, and so forth. But I guess it's really, and this is the thing, when a general authority is an apostle or member of the First Presidency visits a ward, it's a different experience. Those who've had that experience, because it's much more casual, right? There's no teleprompters. It's much different than general conference, and so
you see a different part of their personality.
Yeah, you get more of their personality, and it's sort of like, oh, they're kind of speaking off the cuff, and this is a little bit of the issue, which I wouldn't be surprised if general authorities show up and they're just like, hey, you with the camera over there, why don't we shut that down, right? Because usually the protocol is a general authority shows up, or an apostle, they will have, they may broadcast it, but some that record it and put it up on YouTube or wherever will be asked to remove that recording very soon after, right? So that this type of thing doesn't happen. But I don't know. I mean, things are so fast, and you can download videos so fast that it's hard to get away from this type of thing. So I guess what stands out to me is, I was like, that's where I went first. Like, I don't know if that's exactly real, especially in this world of AI. That'd be very easy to duplicate. But then there were some, excuse me, there were some people who confirmed, who were actually there, that said, oh yeah, that happened. So that was where I first went. And then it was like, we're just not used to hearing general authorities, especially apostles, sort of just banter off the cuff about very esoteric doctrines, right? And so, but I'm interested, like, you're almost trying to read his mind, like, what's going through your mind as you add that caveat, right? Because everything was fine up until he said, or mothers. And we're like the record, like, what? What'd you say, dude? So, and the tough thing about it, it's such good fodder for those who are antagonistic towards the church. And that they can take that and run with it and say, yep, you see, they are as crazy as we've been telling you about, and they believe in eternal polygamy, and it's going to be a thing, and it'll probably even return to, they'll probably reestablish it, right? They just run with it, or all the forums run with it, and work sort of like, I mean, you didn't have to say that, right? It's interesting, but again, I kind of want to go to the place of, yeah, let's just not. It is kind of weird doctrine, like it's esoteric doctrine. Maybe the best thing is just not talk about it.
Well, the thing is, though, is how do you not talk about it when you're practicing it yourself?
Yeah.
He's married multiple women in the eternities.
Yeah.
So it's going to come to his mind when he's talking about a heavenly mother.
Yeah.
Because he probably really believes that. And something I just wanted to say is like, this is sort of the way I feel about the heavenly mother doctrine. And maybe, I don't know about polygamy. I don't have like a fully formed opinion on this, but sometimes I just feel like when it comes to things like of the afterlife and how we're going to live in the afterlife and the plan of salvation, a lot of our doctrine just feels to me like logical conclusions. And I kind of wish that there was like a way to differentiate between things that we absolutely know from revealed truths, visions,
Yeah.
or when is it like a logical conclusion? Because to me, somebody could prove me wrong in the comments, but what sort of Joseph Smith did not see Heavenly Mother, right?
Right. Like in the Sacred Grove, right?
Yeah. It seems to me that, and again, we should just talk to like an actual scholar or historian about this, but the Heavenly Mother is just possibly an example of a logical conclusion. We get married in the afterlife, therefore God has a wife as well, and therefore we have a Heavenly Mother. But in reality, we just don't really understand that much about the afterlife. And even if we did, even if it was true, I still feel like our minds are just too small to really understand what it's going to be like over there.
Right. Yeah. I appreciate how you frame that, of like, we get these really dynamic doctrines in every corner of the restored gospel, right? And then we sort of take our human logic and say, I wonder where we could go with this, right? Even to the place of like, families can be together forever, like the most simple doctrine that we sing about in primary. But I see so many people run with that then we get to these really terrible interpretations of it, like the empty chair in heaven, right? Or some people frame it as sad heaven, that, oh, families can be together forever if we're all righteous and we all do the things and we all go to the temple and then we can live together. But if we don't, if our brother Joey, falls away and doesn't do the temple thing or doesn't do the church thing, then I guess he'll be like in this far off land, and we won't be able to see him, right? He'll be in some other kingdom, when nowhere is this like a geographic doctrine. Like, I even asked some BYU scholars about this. Like, okay, what do you interpret? Like, is there anything out there that says that we're actually not going to be in their presence or far away? And I think just like in immortality, we're all sort of on a different, spiritual level and progression and things, not because we're better or whatever, but the graceful God that we worship, I think he's not necessarily going to separate us from these people. We'll just be sort of on a different path of being like, I'm doing the temple thing, I'm doing the exaltation thing, and you're not, but that's okay. Like, come to Sunday dinner and, on Celestial Avenue or whatever. I don't know. But we sort of take the logic and run with it. And that's where, and this Heavenly Mother thing is another one. I don't know. I shouldn't even bring this up because I got so on Leading Saints, we've done one episode on Heavenly Mother. And that will probably be my last episode on Heavenly Mother, because
might be our last This Week in Mormon.
That's right. Hey, let's throw this one in the pot as well. But just because it was more of a traditional, I don't know, because there's sort of, here I go. I'm going to step in the trap here. But hey, be patient with me, audience. Okay, I'm trying here, but I just felt like if because we didn't articulate the doctrine of Heavenly Mother in a certain way that was more progressive, um, that man, like the online mob kind of came after us, like, you're doing it wrong. This is terrible. This is causing hurt and pain. I'm like, we were just referencing quotes and things. I get there's various ways to come about this, and the other thing that's dangerous, I feel like, about taking this logic and running with it, where it's like, oh well, so the logic says he's married and they're both deity, so therefore I can pray to Heavenly Mother, or I can worship her in some way. And it's almost like we tell Jesus, like, hey, can you scoot over on the Godhead train here, because we got to fit Heavenly Mother in here. And so we sort of dismiss or set aside Christ in order for this new figure to come in. All right. Or there's been speculation that the Holy Ghost is Heavenly Mother, all these things. And it's like, okay, let's just pump the brakes and just say, we don't know. Right. And I think that's where it comes to with all these things. Where I think if we said that to President Oaks, like, hey, President Oaks, we don't actually know, right? He'd probably say, yeah, you're right. I was just sort of talking, off the cuff, and that's what came out. And I probably would word it differently, or I'm going to meet with the correlation department. Maybe they can give me a better way to phrase it, whatever. But yeah, I think this logic we sometimes run with that gets us in places that, in these esoteric places that are like, I think we're not even close to the redemptive power of Jesus Christ, which is at the core of our doctrine. That's where we should focus.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's definitely a balance, because I think a lot of people find fulfillment through doing that, and they find different expressions of their faith through allowing the faith that the church teaches, the doctrine that the church teaches, and kind of like exploring it on their own, and sort of molding it to their life and to their perspective,
Yeah.
and that allows for, and that's one really awesome thing about our church. And that's what makes us kind of a lively religion, not, sort of like a dead doctrine, right? Is we have, I think just our doctrine is just kind of like what you said earlier. It's just very dynamic, and
Yeah.
and I like that. But just like in all parts of faith, we do kind of have to exercise that, some moderation maybe as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
at least that's how I interpret it. That's how I approach it.
Yeah. And going back to President Oaks, just giving a lot of grace to these general authorities that here they are, they're speaking a lot, they're traveling the world, and man, they say something like this, and I bet he would like to take it back. I don't know. Maybe he's like, no, this is the direction we're heading. And people are speculating like, oh, well, they're going to say more things like this. I would be surprised. Yeah.
He believes it because he's performing it.
It's true.
He's married to two women. I'm usually with you on this, but I just think that he meant it. And I don't know, what do you call that? It's like Freudian slip or something. Like, so
yeah.
Anyway, it'll be interesting to see if anything else comes of it. They probably won't say anything. But
well, that's the thing, and that's the other thing. I'm like, this is quite a statement. Like, I almost feel like the church would like send out an official response to it, but at the same time, like, well, I don't know, maybe not. Cool. Well, anything else about this? I think we've
no. I think we're good. We can move on to the next story.
Where do you want to go?
Tangentially related: the secret lives of Mormon wives. I've never
secret doctrines of Mormon wives.
Exactly. I watched maybe the first 5 minutes of this show, and I was actually hooked. And then I turned it off and never went back and watched it again.
That's quite.
It's just not my thing,
Yeah,
I don't turn on reality TV, but it was really entertaining. I've worked on reality TV shows. And
really?
It's interesting from that perspective. Just for a little bit, for the little bit of time that I was in Los Angeles, and they were nominated for an Emmy. It was the show's first Emmy nomination
for outstanding unstructured reality program category. So with you with experience working on a reality show, how unstructured does it get?
Yeah, it's a good, I would say it's it is. It's pretty. I don't know exactly how they produced this one, but the one that I worked on
Uh-huh.
basically it's so trashy.
The one you worked on, or
Yeah. Basically, they put a bunch of women in a mansion in Beverly Hills with one guy,
okay, was it
and then
like a bachelor type thing, or
yeah, but they all live in the same
okay,
house together, basically. And the way they did it was they just had like four or so cameras just running 24/7. Like
mm,
someone is the recording button is always on, and then in a room in the attic you've got all the producers watching, just like in like the Truman Show or Ed TV or whatever, right? You've got these producers watching and just taking notes and basically forming a story as it unfolds. So, and yeah, they try and kind of like push things one way or push things another,
uh-huh.
but um and but yeah, it's actually a lot of that I think is fairly, I guess, real, but you also have the influence of the cameras being present and everything. What does that do to people's personalities? And oh,
Yeah,
maybe they want to stay on the show, so they don't want to get booted off, so they act a certain way. So
yeah.
there's that type of stuff.
Well, an Emmy nomination.
Emmy nomination.
Congratulations, I guess. I don't know what to
Yay.
say, but
More
just
great
more
LDS
reason for
media.
Hulu to continue their obsession. So
Yeah.
it is. There it is. Well, in much better news, of all considering all the things we've talked about so far, is America's Choir, the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square, reached a historic milestone by performing the 5,000th episode of its signature program, Music in the Spoken Word, on July 13th, 2025. This program, which began in 1929, is the longest running consecutive broadcast of its kind, reaching over 6 million weekly listeners in more than 50 countries. So, congratulations to them.
Really cool. Have you ever
Yeah.
been to one, to Music and Spoken Word?
I want to say before, like, if I go to conference during that session, right? I've been to that one, but I'm sure I've been to one or two. But
It
in
kind of
Utah, it's one of those things like I've never been to Bryce Canyon, and it's sort of like, what, you live
right.
in Utah? Like, I've never been to Music and the Spoken Word either. So.
Yeah, I feel like because it's been running for so long, there's always like some news article. I've seen multiple news articles about some milestone that it's reaching, and I feel like maybe I went to one when I was a teenager. But yeah, I think I need to go because I mean, do they do it every day? They do it every. When do they do it? Like every day,
Yeah,
every Sunday,
every Sunday they do it. Uh-huh.
every Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay,
hmm
and it's free.
Yeah, it's on, like, I think public television usually. I could be
Okay,
wrong. Maybe I forget who broadcasts it, but yeah, it's quite popular, obviously. So
and it's the whole choir that's doing it. Is that right?
yeah, yeah, uh-huh.
So I don't know why I don't just go. Because to me, it's like, oh, Mormon Tabernacle Choir, the Tabernacle Choir, Temple Square. It's like, it's like this big special thing, but I can just go any
Yeah,
Sunday that I
that's right.
want.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's at like 9:30 or something, and so if you have 9 o'clock church, it's kind of tricky, or even if you have like 11 o'clock church or whatever it is to get back for. But you can obviously go to the choir and not go to church. No judgment here. So so good stuff. All right, what else has been
We're kind of going
intriguing this
along.
week?
Yeah, I think we're kind of moving with a theme here. We didn't actually organize this in any particular way, but it's working out pretty well so
That's
far.
right.
It seems like the church newsroom is releasing these stories sort of behind the scenes of some of the new hymns that they're releasing.
Hmm.
Because I saw another one about one of the hymns that was released that was written in jail or something like that.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yep.
And this one is about what's the name of the hymn? Do you have that up? Let me see if
I
I can
think,
find it real quick.
yeah.
O
Where's the link?
Lord, who gave thy life for me. I read the lyrics. It's a beautiful, beautiful hymn. And I must say that once you know the story behind the words, it makes the words more meaningful. And I feel like if I end up singing this in sacrament meeting, knowing how it was written, like it'll help me relate to it more, maybe bring you sort of heighten the experience for me. But basically, it was written by a woman. I believe that she wrote music throughout her life, and she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and she actually passed away at the age of 55. And she wrote this hymn while she was struggling with that experience.
Wow.
And knowing that and reading the words of the hymn, it's a very, very powerful hymn. So
Yeah. And looks
I
like
really
she
like the idea of trying to like bring more life into our, into the hymns at
yeah.
church.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it says in here, but I wonder if the committee that was choosing these hymns was aware of her diagnosis or her health struggle there. And because it looks like she died in 2019, so obviously died before she knew it was being included in the hymn book. But that's great.
Well, she had like won some awards and things before, so I'm sure that she was kind of on their radar. It seems like she was like fairly well known. It wasn't like a random woman
Mm,
with this disease
yeah,
who
that makes
wrote
sense.
this hymn, right? I think she had kind of made a name for herself. Um, I have a sort of somewhat related, sort of bringing um, an added experience to singing hymns in church. I just want to bounce this idea off of you because
All right.
I had a fairly awkward experience doing this in my own ward. I had just moved to a family ward for the very first time, and I think I was feeling like a little excited, and I had this idea where I think it would be really cool if when you sang the sacrament hymn, if you were to, how you have that pause after the sacrament hymn where they're like still breaking the bread
Yeah.
and they play the music. How cool would it be if somebody like got up during that sort of interlude and they like read one of the scriptures related to the hymn, like over the microphone?
I
And they
like it.
kind of did it
Yeah.
in this like nice, I don't know, pastoral voice. And you could listen to the scripture that the hymn is based off of while you're preparing for the sacrament.
Yeah. And just kind of make it more like connected spiritually, right, to what's going on, rather than because sometimes we
Mhm.
sing these hymns and we kind of forget what we're singing, and so that would give it maybe a fresh spin. So hey, let's either have words try it or create another handbook paragraph that did not do it. So
I went up to the musical guy, and I told him, and I had only had one conversation with this guy before. And I was like, "Hey, I have this great idea for you,"
uh-huh.
and he just was like, "Well, we'll talk to Bishop and see what Bishop says." And I'm pretty sure I said something to Bishop about it too, or did I? I don't remember. But anyway, I never heard about it again.
he's he's thinking, how do I get this guy out of my how do I end this conversation and move on with my day here, right?
I know. I was like, I just received this revelation for you, man.
Write it down. We must do it. So very, very cool. I like it. Now it's been broadcast. So those who,
Yeah.
try
If
it, contact
anybody
it this
tries
week in
it,
Mormons.
please, somebody do it, and then let us know because I'll never be called as a musical director.
Yeah.
Um, obviously, because I'd probably implement all these crazy ideas.
Are you
There's
musical at all? Or like,
no, and that's the real reason why I wouldn't be called. I mean, I can play the drums.
oh, cool.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I
but not
think
in sacrament meeting.
we're having some technical difficulties, so it keeps on like dropping
Is
out.
it?
So if I'm like talking over you, I'm not trying to be rude.
Okay. You're good. You're good. I think it's on my end. I've had this issue, but
Okay.
we'll just get through it, I guess. So, um, all right, let's go to the 150th anniversary of Young Men. The church did a broadcast I believe, it was this past Sunday, and President Anderson and President Lund did a broadcast at the Priesthood Restoration site, which I've been to. It's a phenomenal, beautiful place to visit. And they just said, "Hey, we did it 150 years. This is cool." I don't know what else there's to say about it, but I think
Yeah.
worth noting. So
Yeah. I read the article too, and didn't really see anything to comment on, but yeah, it's pretty cool. 150th anniversary. I mean,
we had to do something.
Is it kind of in like a weird place right now? The Young Men's Organization.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Maybe that's why it didn't really does it kind of feel like they didn't really make a big deal out of this? I mean, I guess they did the 42-minute video. There was a video released with with Elder Anderson. So maybe I should watch that.
It's just one of those things of like, I don't know what else do we do, right? Like we got to do something for 150 years. All right. Jeff, I think this is you're gonna have to lead us out here. So I wanted to,
I wonder
anything else you want to mention, and then I think it'll get your side, and then we'll wrap it up. Any highlights?
Okay, highlights. All right. Well, hold on. Let me just. I probably won't be able to do that one justice. I thought that this was cool. A stake in Mongolia performed a trek experience there.
Now they're true Latter-day Saints.
Yeah, and I kind of wonder like how they figured out to do that. Like, whose idea was it? Because it's kind of complicated, right? And there's a lot of logistics there. I wonder like how they made it their own, or did they have somebody who lived here in the States and had done it themselves or something? But I just think I think it's really cool to hear about, again, going back to how we were talking about like a dynamic faith, people sort of taking some of our traditions and our beliefs and sort of, molding them to their own experiences. And I think that the Mongolian saints, identifying with the stories and the trials of the pioneers, it just goes to show that the pioneer experience, even though it is a very like American, an American experience, it's also much larger than that, right? And there's a lot of like spiritual principles and maybe even just like human experiences that I think people can relate to like anywhere. And so I just love to hear. I love to hear a story like that, and I would love to do a Trek experience one day myself. Yeah. Still have not,
especially Mongolia. I mean, let's get a travel agency putting that together. So go visit Mongolia.
Right.
Nice. Cool. All right. Did we hit them all? The rest are, First Meeting House in Luxembourg, LDS around the world. I think, Pulitzer Prize winning cartoonist Steve Benson passed away at 71. He's the grandson of President Ezra Taft Benson. And he disaffected from the church back in the 80s when he wasn't pleased with how the church handled just President Benson's health. So anyways, he passed away.
All right, just because we got to do it. Like, what's your Mount Rushmore before we go?
Yeah. Okay, you got Brother Joseph, you got Brother Brigham. That's a given. I think the last two, President Nelson, is a contender. Just what he's done for temples and just the moving the work forward. And here's my dark horse, N. Eldon Tanner. Do you know who that is?
I've heard the name.
Yeah, he was in the first presidency back with President Kimball, I believe. And but he really, as far as the financial brains of the church, he really got the church engaged in being like a corporation and a financial beast when it comes to it basically put us on the path that we're on now, being one of the wealthiest churches in America and in the world. So, how about you?
Yeah,
your Mount Rushmore.
I'm glad that you brought a nonprofit in there because I feel like there could be some answers out there with people who on the Rushmore as far as influence, kind of like like the Apostle Paul was like some people say that he was more influential on Christianity than like Jesus Christ himself, at least as far as like Christian doctrine goes.
Yeah.
I do wonder if there was like some Mormon, thinkers or leaders who were not prophets who had an outsized influence on the church. I think, would it be like Parley P. Pratt maybe might be up there as far as like doctrine goes, or was it Orson Pratt? I don't know, but that's just like stuff that I've heard from other people. And who was the guy that I was B.H. Roberts, possibly. But I will say the one person that nobody has mentioned yet that I would put on Mount Rushmore, and this tracks with what we talked about today, that would be Wilford Woodruff.
Ooh.
Because Wilford Woodruff ended the practice of polygamy, which caused a schism,
at least on this side of the veil.
And yeah, at least exactly. And truly entered the church into a new era, and a new path towards where we are today.
Yeah.
And so I would definitely put Wilford Woodruff up there. I don't think I would put President Nelson up there. And this is my hot take I'll just end with. I know everybody talks about the temples and everything, but I don't know. I think it's great. I think it's setting us on a path towards being a temple-focused people, sure. Yeah. But it's like, it's real estate, like we have how many churches already, how many chapels? We don't, another chapel is being built over here. It's like, all they got to do is they got to go find a lot of land. We have a ton of money, and then of course you have to have enough people to fill the temple. So that's one reason why it's a nice piece of news, because that the church is growing in that area. But to me, I'm kind of like, I don't know. I feel like I want to see more from somebody than just announcing a ton of temples. Some of those temples not getting built, right?
Yeah.
And to get on Mount Rushmore. So that's my hot take.
I think another like dark horse candidate would be Martin Harris, because to mortgage his farm to bring the Book of Mormon forth. Joseph would have been a tough spot, right? It's like, okay, I got this translation, I got this manuscript, I don't know how to get it published, right? So I think that was quite consequential for the restoration. So anyways, fun to think about. We covered it all, Jeff?
Yeah, I think so.
Even through our technical difficulties like I'm having right now?
Well, this was fun. Sorry we had the technical difficulties, but I'm glad I could come back and do this with you guys again.
Yeah. You're welcome back anytime, Jeff. We'd love to have you, and good luck on your date tonight. We'll be praying for you. Thanks for listening in. You can go to Contact at This Week in Mormons if you want to come at us with your comments. We'd love to hear it. And thanks for joining us. And
finally we'll get a mailbag next time.
Yeah, we need a mailbag. Right? Get mad at us, not just Matt and Melissa. So